Let's see. It is Friday, end of the week. Congratulations, guys, you made it. If there was ever a doubt, I don't think there was. As well, it is September 20th, 2024. 2 days away from the calendar, official Gregorian calendar, astronomical start of autumn. Leaves are already falling. It's really sort of felt like it's been autumn since the beginning of September, which meteorologists basically say that's autumn. They go by trends. Sorry, guys. Um, so either way, it's autumn. It's almost autumn. It will be autumn. There is no escape from it. You know what else that means? There is no escape from winter. Some of you probably don't mind. I used to dread winter. It just made everything I enjoyed that much more difficult. And the things, some of those things were sort of on the thread of keeping me even keeled. That I would find my, sorry guys, I'm bringing up, I gotta bring up a couple of things. I gotta bring up my desktop so I can read comments if we get any. Um, it really felt like, especially long distance running, walking, getting outside for long lengths of time. Time on my feet, as we say in ultra running training, that was the thing that was keeping me from sinking into really deep depression, let alone the sort of shallow end of the pool that I find myself on quite a bit and have for since I was a kid, really. So for a long time, I really would dread winter. However, I still don't like it. But there's no dread. You know, things are as they are. That has been the major difference with me and depression. Every once in a while, you get someone who comes in and will say something like, depression doesn't exist. It's all in your head. Cheer up. Things like that, which is sort of a inane comments from people who don't suffer from depression. And it really is something people suffer from, something that I've suffered from. Here's the amazing thing that's happened to me is depression remains, the suffering is gone. For now, I don't make any predictions. Um, what's going to be going on with me tomorrow, let alone a month from now or a year from now. What I do know is that depression will still creep into my life slowly, and I'll notice it. But there's an absence of suffering because there is an absence of a sufferer. Hey, Sniper. Sniper says, greetings, Glen Eric. Greetings, my friend. Beautiful apple tree. Nice job. And why is that? The thing is, I'd like to say meditation and breath work. However, I've been meditating and doing breath work for 30 plus years, and I've had depression, suffered depression all that time. Meditation deepened, most certainly, through the years. And it did improve almost immediately when I began meditation. But it was still present, and the sufferer was still present. Some of the things that I found very helpful was doing more self-inquiry. Who am I? And when you keep asking that question, this is Jnana Yoga, the path of self-inquiry. Who am I? Who am I? Everyone thinks they have an answer, and they'll give you their name, they'll give you their job, they'll give you their whatever, a description. Everyone gives a description. Sniper says accepting the unknown will help with depression. Yeah, probably for some people for sure. The problem is, as long as there is a sufferer, someone who suffers, then there'll be suffering. Through the path of self-inquiry, when you get to the bottom line, that, and this comes with uncertainty because there's a great shrug with self-inquiry. We never come to an answer. Everything that we say that we are can easily be dismissed when it's viewed intuitively, even when it's viewed psychologically, even when it's viewed scientifically. It can all be dismissed. Everything you name is a description and not the actuality of who you are, because who you are is more apt a verb than it is a noun. So it can be only be described in more of a action based. Basically, we get down to, I don't know. That's the starting point for Zen, for enlightenment, especially Korean Zen, when they teach the don't know mind. We don't know. All we can do is shrug. The answer to almost every Zen koan is a shrug. So who am I? And then you just keep dismissing until you get to aware. All we can say about ourselves, I'm aware. I'm aware of depression. It's not even a I am, because I am comes from aware. I am is a valuable insight. It's the first thing after awareness. Aware I am, and then everything follows. It's also a very powerful creative tool. We have created our entire universe from I am. Think about it. I am short, I am tall, I am white, I am bald. I know that comes to a shock to all of you guys. All coming from I am, which is that first appearance from the absolute, from the nothingness, from the great void. Remember the Heart Sutra from Zen. Emptiness is form, form is emptiness. Not two different things. It's not emptiness becoming form. It's not form reverting to emptiness at the exact same time. It means we are empty. What a great thing. Within emptiness, suffering occurs, but there is no sufferer. That realization alone brings a great sense of relief, because now I no longer have to battle. I don't have to battle that depression. It simply is an appearance within awareness of which I am. Hey Sue, how are you? How's your Friday going? So, yeah, Jnana Yoga, the path of self-inquiry, leads to some great insights and a huge healing, because we realize who and what we are is beyond the point of suffering. Does not mean it is beyond the point of sorrow or grief or anger or hurt or this or that. All of that are happenings, things, appearances within that wide open great awareness in which we are, including depression. Sniper says, greetings, just one Sue. So, very helpful to begin a meditation practice with a little bit of self-inquiry. Do some breath work, some self-inquiry, and then relax into your mantra. Mainly I talk about mantra meditation. That's what I practice, that's what I teach. It hasn't been always. I have done other forms of meditation, but since 1990 something, except for a brief, maybe year-long foray into insight meditation, Buddhist insight meditation, Vipassana, it's mainly been the primordial sound meditation, of which I later became and am a teacher of. Sue says, still recovering from doing the time-lapse video of the moon last night. It was a long night, but worth it. It's the price we pay for being an artist. Sue suffered for her art, but as she said, it was a long night, but worth it. Yeah. Again, when you're something like that doesn't happen often and you get an opportunity to witness it, you make the sacrifices, you get out there with your camera, and you get the job done. So it occurs to me, I talk a lot about meditation, but I very seldom offer how to meditate. So I will. Let's see. Sniper says to Sue, did you know the moon throws out a cold light? I have measured the temperature in the shade of the moonlight, and in direct, it is 1 degree Celsius warmer in the shadow. Interesting. Anywhere, anytime. Gives us a wave. Hello, my friend. How are you? Sue says it was great to watch. I bet. And that it is, that's interesting, Squirrel. We get a like from anywhere, anytime. Very much appreciated. So again, I practice and teach mantra meditation because it's, for me, the most effective, the easiest meditation we can do. Anywhere it says, how is hosts and everyone in the chat? I'm doing pretty good. We're off to a slow but meaningful start. So, mantra meditation. Mantra means mind vehicle. Takes us deeper. It's a thought, but it's a very, very, very subtle thought. So people have the misconception that to meditate, you need to empty your mind. You can't empty your mind. You can. The ego can. The mind is already empty. The mind is already quiet. The brain thinks. That's the function of the brain. However, we are the witness to the thoughts. We're the witness to emotions. We're the witness to opinions and beliefs. We're not them. Ever. Just like the sky is always untouched by a cloud, always untouched by an airplane, always untouched by the reach of branches or the tip of a mountaintop. We are untouched by the occurrences of life. We just don't know it. But it's always present, always quiet. Specs Appeal says, absolutely love this. Thanks, my friend. Sue says, doing well. Anywhere, you? So meditation is simply falling within the gaps of our thoughts. You're not chasing them away. You're not using the mantra to cancel them out. A lot of people do that. They'll have a thought and they think mantra, mantra, mantra. Like they could chase the thought away with another thought. Don't need to do that. Here's what we need to do. Relax. If you find any time when you're meditating that you're tense, that you're applying effort, that you're concentrating, relax. Let the mantra go. And just think, whatever. That's 3 whatevers. Hey, Odom, how are you? And then when you're ready, you start thinking the mantra again. Always gently, always easy, without force, without effort, without concentration. You think it and you let it go. No particular rhythm, no particular cadence, no volume to it. Just think it, whatever you're able to. 4 things can happen when we meditate. We can be thinking the mantra. We can be having thoughts, regular thoughts, everyday thoughts. We can fall asleep, or we can slip into the gap. Number 4. Any of those 4 things that happen, and it's a perfect meditation. If you're thinking the mantra, that's what you're supposed to be doing. If you are having regular thoughts, that is stress being released. Let it happen. And when you think of it, when you get carried away by a thought, you come back to the mantra. In just a little bit, I'm going to give you guys a mantra. The third, if you fall asleep, it's because you've entered into the sympathetic nervous state. Your brain waves have slowed. It's not a true sleep, even if it feels that way. It is the state of no thingness itself. It'll be the best sleep that you've had for the course of the day. This is why get up and meditate in the morning. You won't miss sleep because you'll get so much out of the meditation itself. You'll be more relaxed, sharper, clear. Sue says it's very peaceful sitting outside in the dark, watching the moonrise. Nice. Yeah, I bet. You and your cat, right? Odom says, I'm blessed. It's another day above ground. How are you? And hello to one Sue. I'm good, Odom. I agree. Another day above ground. And the 4th. So if you fall asleep, you'll wake up and go back to the mantra. You can wake up and you can look at the clock. And by the way, when you're meditating, don't be afraid to look at a clock if you need to. Don't be afraid to scratch. Just scratch. Maharishi Mahesh Yogi said, don't turn your meditation into an itching meditation, where all you can do is think, don't scratch, don't scratch, don't scratch. If it itches, scratch and have it over with. It's better than spending 20 minutes doing nothing but thinking how badly you want to scratch. The 4th, you fall into the gap. The gap is just a description. As I mentioned, who and what we are is pure awareness, unrestrained by anything. But we have thoughts. In between each thought is that ever-present reality of awareness, spaciousness itself, openness, pure, unconditional, accepting love. The gap exists. You look at it, any word. It's the space between the word that gives it meaning. Otherwise, it would just be a random stream of letters. It's the space between each letter that gives that particular word meaning. It's the space between paragraphs that shapes the outline. It is the space between thoughts that is the witness to the thoughts themselves. As you think the mantra, somewhere along the line, you're having a thought, then you're thinking the mantra. Silence. The voice of God, as Herman Melville said. Reality. But you won't know it because it's the absence. The witness is the absence of you. It's just pure awareness. And then you have a thought and you're out of it and you think, something happened. Something pretty cool. Something pretty magical. I hope that happens again. I can't wait for that to happen again. What was that? And then you notice, I'm thinking. And you go back, mantra, until the meditation's over. Don't worry about how many times you slip into the gap. It'll happen and you won't even know it. Let's see. Sue says, no kitty for that. Ginger says, try having ADHD and sitting still and not thinking. I always have to stay active and make people laugh. Here's the thing. You don't have to try to not think. You're not your thoughts. You're not your ADHD. All of those are occurring within the spaciousness and open nature of your mind. ADHD is just a lot of thoughts at once. So a lot of times, if you have ADHD, the best type of meditation, at least to start with, is some type of motion. Again, getting out in nature first thing in the morning, because your mind enters the alpha brainwave state, the lightest form of meditation. It's the state of creativity, inspiration, you don't have to do anything. The fractal patterns of nature are registered by the eyes, and you already fall into that. Now, here's what you can add. Nasal breathing. When you're outside walking, breathe through the nose, exhale through the nose. Don't make it an effort. Don't go out and just notice. That's my fine acting skills, by the way, of me forcefully nasal breathing. Just notice it. Going in, going out, and walk. Now, if you want to make it even more of a meditative experience, use a mantram. A mantram is different than a mantra. A mantram can be any word that has meaning for you. It's best to use a holy name of God, whatever that might be. It could be Allah, Krishna, Hare Rama, Jesus. Think it as you're walking, nasal breathing, and your mind will wander, and you just come back to the mantra gently, and you smile. You smile at every time your mind wanders. Let's see. Spec says, that's what I do. Awesome. Sue smiles at Ginger. Spec says, great advice. It's a million miles an hour all the time. Just making that shift. Don't fight it. Especially if you sit to meditate or if you walk to meditate. Don't allow the mind to do whatever the mind does. What difference does it make to you? You are not limited to the brain. You are not limited to your thoughts. You are the observer, the witness of which all those thoughts occur within. Hey, Eric, how are you? Sue says, I wish I could breathe straight through my nose while walking. My sinuses are so bad they constantly block to a point. One of the things you can do is, as you're breathing through your mouth or through your nose, and you're walking, keep walking, hold your nose for 10 steps. Not breathing, very gently, very easily. And then release. And then walk however long you feel like walking, 5-10 minutes, and do it again. As you walk, you can even move your head. Don't close your eyes if you're outside. Just gently move your head, very gently, and release. And see if that doesn't release some of the pressure and some of the stuffiness from the sinuses. Ginger says, I see that. I usually do that when on my deck watching sunrise with a big inhale. Nice. Ginger says, that's when I know I am done and I'm good and okay. Absolutely. The breath tells you everything. And breath awareness, the simplest form of meditation. The Vietnamese Zen master, Thich Nhat Hanh, wonderful meditation that happens in the moment. Breathing in, I relax. Breathing out, I smile. And then just stay there. Just stay there. Pause. Thoughts come rushing in. Who cares? It's a one breath meditation. One breath. Let's see. Ginger says, what's up, all yous? All yous? Did you just call us a bunch of female sheep? So, the gap is always present. You can't escape it. It's who you are. Reality itself. Meditation is never forced. Sue says, it's a chronic condition I've had most of my life. Meds help occasionally. I always chew gum while walking, so it's easy breathing. Works for me. Nice. I'm glad gum works. You can give that a try, though, and see. It has worked for many people. It's medically taught to people with chronic sinus conditions as well as people with asthma. It works, again, people with chronic, it has worked, people with chronic sinus conditions, as well as people who just have a cold. Their nose is blocked. And you just, few steps as you're walking, hold the nose, You're holding your breath, you're walking, and you release. What you want to do is create a very, very light sense of air hunger. Not a panicky, I can't breathe, not a how long can I hold my breath, just until you feel like a very light hunger for air, very, very light, and then release and continue walking. You can repeat that maybe 2, 3 times and just see. If it doesn't work, nothing lost. Hey, Austin, how are you? Austin says, hi, everyone. Ginger says, yep, see that I notice that. I am laughing because when you said that exactly, when you said happens, well, I'm doing it more. Not that I have anything against female sheep. Some of my best friends are female sheep. That's not actually true. Austin says, I'm doing good. Thanks. Hey, did you guys know that Austin has laser beams for eyes? If you don't believe me, there's a video on his channel. Austin Garrett has laser beams for his eyes. So sit in a chair. Sue gives us sheep. Thank you, Sue. Hey, speaking of sheep, Eric LaPointe has sheep. Here I am sitting here bragging about my imaginary sheep, and Eric LaPointe is probably sitting here saying, Yogi, he doesn't know sheep. Sorry about that, Eric LaPointe. Ginger says, it's better than heifers. I don't know, man. I like cows made me vegan. A photo of a cow was the last straw. I saw a photo of a cow on its knees getting kicked in the face by a farmer, and a cow looked at that farmer not with anger, but with this depth of hurt, and forgiveness at the same time. Like, you're only human. And I thought, I'm done. Got to break this wheel of cruelty that I find myself in, and that was it. I'm done. Quint says, yep. Not what you says, hey Yogi, did you watch Mr. Rogers as a kid? I did. I saw the stuff he did. Wish I'd watched as a kid. I grew up with Mr. Rogers. You know what? He was on David Letterman. If you guys can find the clip of him on David Letterman being interviewed, and Letterman was just in awe of the kindness of this man. And he asked him, what do you say to kids who see cruelty and violence and bad things happening? And he said in that Mr. Roger voice, sometimes things don't always go right in the neighborhood. That's Buddhism. That's yoga. Sometimes things don't always go right in the neighborhood. Ginger says he counts them all the time. He doesn't know sheep sounds like a swear. We get a oh bad yogi. Everything I say is always based in innocence. Remember that. Let's see. Night Watcher says there's a clip where he instantly made a cold senator that wanted to cut PBS funding, instantly change his words and give $20 million to PBS. Nice. Night Watcher says, hey, y'all. So meditation. Sit in a chair. I sit in Sukhasana, which is called the easy pose in yoga. It's a cross-legged pose. It's not the lotus position. Lotus position for me and my old knees are not always the best. So easy pose. It's just the pose we used to sit in when we were kids, sitting around listening to a story. And it was so natural and easy then. It takes a little bit of work now. So don't worry about it. Sit in a chair. Don't lay down. Laying down is conducive to sleep. That's your sleep position. So you don't want to confuse your meditation position with your sleep position. Just sit comfortably in a chair. You can put your hands in the Vishnana Mudra like that, the okay, or you can just put them flat on your lap, on your knees, doesn't matter. Your back is straight, but not rigid. You're not fighting it. You're not trying to see how tall you can stand up. Your energy is going to flow as long as you are upright. Buddhism, the nadis, the energetic channels that go up the spine and down the spine. It's going to happen by itself. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to stare at the third eye. It'll happen by itself. You can put your tongue on the upper teeth, right behind it, and gently and easily. Breathe through your nose if you're able to breathe through your nose. If you can't breathe through your nose, just breathe. However, relax the shoulders, relax the jaw, relax the brow. Everything's relaxed. Watch the breath. Just watch it. Coming in, coming out. If you'd wanted to, you could just do that for 20 minutes and it would be a highly effective meditation. Just watching the breath in, watching the breath out. Watch the gap. And pranayama kumbhaltai, which means retention. You're not purposely retaining the breath, you're just noticing how there's that gap. You breathe in, you breathe out, and there's a gap before the next breath comes. Notice that gap. Just do that for a minute or two. And then gently, easily, you introduce the mantra. A universal mantra is aham. Aham is the sound of the breath. Aham is I am. I am. We're reverting back to that I am state. And you think it. You can say it out loud a few times if you wanted. Aham. Aham. Emphasizing that until it falls into silence. After you say it a few times out loud, you go quiet and you just think it. Aham. You just think it. And you let it go. And when you remember, you think it again. You don't try to hold a pattern or a cadence or anything. You just think it and let it go. And you don't worry about your thoughts, even if it's 1,000 thoughts a minute, even if it's 1,000,000 thoughts a minute. You don't worry about it. You just come back and think the mantra. Your one role. And it doesn't require effort. You're not concentrating on it. You're not worried if a thought comes up. If a thought comes up, perfect. Gives you an opportunity to think thought. There's a thought. What you'll notice is that everything starts getting quieter. And you'll see the thoughts coming. Maybe this will come in fast. However, once you see those thoughts, here's a great realization. You are not your thoughts. You're not even the narrator of your thoughts. You're the silence that allows the thoughts to be. What a huge realization. Matt, what you say is, hey, Yogi, are you Hindu Buddhist? Because I hear you time to time, again, say some Hindu things. Well, I'm a yogi. And yogi is the precursor to Hinduism. Yoga existed before Buddhism, before Hinduism, before isms or ist. I have practiced and I've studied with some Buddhist meditation masters, some great Buddhist teachers, some actually well-known Buddhist teachers. And I love the Buddhist teachings, but I always revert back, I'm just a yogi. Just a guy that practices yoga, teaches meditation, teaches breath work, and I'm a student of A Course in Miracles, which some people say is the Buddhism for the West. Buddhism with a Western psychological bent. Let's see. Hey, Sabine, how are you? Ginger says, I do live in the woods because life is constantly changing in cities. When I get out, It's like it's not bad anymore. I used to hate being in public, like few people. I've gotten actually more so like that as I get older. I like everyone from a distance. um, they always, one of the sayings in yoga and meditation, it's easy to be enlightened on a mountaintop. Try being enlightened Thanksgiving dinner with all of your family showing up. It's a little harder. That's the great thing about Course in Miracles is it teaches you the art and practice of forgiveness so that you're always returning to peace. Man, been studying Course in Miracles for 30 years and I always find something that hits me like I've never read it before. And it is the one wholly true thing that one can say about the past is that it's not here. It's not here. And neither is the future. That's forgiveness. Is knowing everything that's ever happened is in the past and it's not here. Everything that might happen is in the future and it's not here. So we just return there. Let's see, everyone's saying hi. Specs says, sorry, I've been listening with my eyes closed. That could be dangerous. I have put more than a few people asleep with my conversations. Eric Lapointe being one of them. Sabine says, so Specs appeal. Ginger says, yes, exactly. And then, you know what? If you need to, if you're keeping time of your meditation, open your eyes, check the time, meditate. Start for 10 minutes twice a day. You could do 5, but you'll find that you're just starting to get deeper and deeper. Even 10 minutes might not be enough. Generally, it's recommended 20 minutes twice a day. That could be a tall order for some people. Start with 10. The benefits are immense. Speed says, I'm fine, Yogi Eric. Thank you. Glad to hear that. Spick says, so great for my anxiety. I rarely comment, but like listening to this channel a lot. But thank you, my friend. I very much appreciate hearing that. Man, I'd love to talk about anxiety. After 30 plus years of meditation, breathwork, and teaching people how to ease their anxiety, I found myself suffering from anxiety and panic attacks. And the worst part, imposter syndrome. Here I am, holding myself up as a yogi and a teacher, and I'm suffering that which I help people go through. And for me, the great realization came with, no one's ever immune from anything. Why would I think that I am? And with that, I began to relax. My breath work deepened. I still feel it creep up, but I have better tools now. One of which is getting out in the morning for those early morning walks in nature. What I do the moment I wake up prepares me to go to sleep at night. And it was at night, laying in bed, and it wasn't triggered by a thought. It wasn't triggered by anything like that. It was triggered by laying down. And all of a sudden, it was like a fire was lit in my spine and I couldn't sit there. I had to get up. If I laid down, something was going to happen. I don't know what. That's the nature of anxiety. Something was going to happen. It was going to be bad, but I don't know what it is. And I would pace the steps up and down all night long as quietly as possible because I was caregiving for my father in his 90s, final stages of congestive heart failure. So I didn't want to wake him because even in that condition, if he heard me, he'd wake up and he would call me and say, what's the matter? What can we do? How can I help you? That was my father. That's the last conversation we ever had. He was in a hospice bed here. The night he came home from the hospital, he had a button to press if he needed me. I went upstairs to go to sleep. About an hour later, I heard him moving a lot and speaking to himself. He never pressed the button. I came downstairs to check on him, and the thing he said to me was, why are you up? I didn't wake you, did I? That's my dad. That was my dad. And I said, no. He said he was very agitated. He was in pain. I went to get him some medicine. He tried to take it and he started saying, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. And I kept asking him, what can't you do? What can I help you with? And I had his hand and he had a seizure and he passed away. And I sat the rest of the night meditating, holding his hand. And the panic just kept going after that. So Castle says, good day, Yogi. Were you able to watch the partial lunar eclipse on the 17th? I wasn't. I miss a lot of that stuff because I'm in bed so early. But you know what? I love the early morning moon. And I wouldn't trade my alone time in the morning for anything in the world. Nice to see you, Castle. And thanks for asking. Let me catch up. I apologize, guys. I'm really behind now. Spec says, I studied Eastern religion through yoga in college a bit. Nice. So you're familiar with a lot of the stuff. Now, what you says, what do you think about Islam Yogi? I like it. I like the core beliefs. But like every religion, it needs to go deeper. People get caught up in the concepts. They get caught up in the isms and ists, and none of that is true. You know, they say in the Tao Te Ching, the Tao that can be told is not the true Tao. The God that can be described by any religion is not the true God, just the description. Neuro-linguistic programming, they say the map is not the territory, the menu is not the meal. Spec says, oh, he needed these words so much. Thank you, Yogi. Very meaningful stuff. You're welcome, my friend. Odom says, yes, the older I get, the meaner I get. I think pretty soon I'm going to start fighting people. I find that hard to believe. Now what you say is it's confusing. Sometimes your camera is flipped. So now I don't know which direction the window is. There's the window. And the probably 40-year-old curtains, drapes. Is there a difference between a drape and a curtain? Hey, Jacob, how are you, my friend? So, all right, let me get caught up. And then I just want to talk briefly breath work, especially breath work for anxiety, breath work to help get us to sleep. Hey, Asia, how are you? Nice to see you, my friend. Eric the Point says, Specs, that short I made a comment on was so funny. I didn't see that coming. I'm going to have to check that out. So here's a question. Why isn't Specs a moderator? That is taken care of. Now what you says, well, Jacob is on overtime with this too. Jacob always is. Jacob is always on the ball. Ginger says, I will not hang out with a lot of people. A lot of people will not hang out. But all you hear is, I miss you guys. Never hear from them again. Interesting. Specs says, same. Oh my God. I'm sorry to hear that, Specs. That is, it's just not easy. Specs says, I have a degree in behavioral science and I feel like a mess at times. Imposter syndrome and anxiety, very relatable. I thought I was dying, went to ER. It was anxiety. Thanks for sharing that story. You're welcome, my friend. That was, again, part of the great realization was no one suffers alone, but we think we do. And then when you speak about it, there's such an immense relief that you mean I'm not an imposter? You mean it's okay to be a yogi and practice yoga and have anxiety, panic attacks? Now Watcher says, Adria, didn't notice you. Night Watcher says, catch the hell up. Well, you know what? Sometimes I gotta sacrifice the diving into conversation, being slow, for saying certain things that I think might be vital to a conversation. And sometimes it's just me rambling on. When you see the difference, call me out. Daisy says, hey, I came back here. I needed to do some homework for English. Welcome back, Daisy. Nice to see you again. Let's see. Spec says, I watched my grandmother pass on hospice too. Yeah, I was with both my mother and father. My mom, I was a caregiver for her with my dad and family through her decline with Alzheimer's, which taught me so much. Working, being with, helping anyone with any form of dementia is advanced yogic training. You learn, man, how deep is my, I almost went Bee Gees. How deep is my love? How deep is my kindness? How deep is my forgiveness? How deep is my patience? And if it isn't very deep, either learn how to be more patient or get someone else to help you, because you are not doing them a service if you are impatient with someone with dementia. There is no, I just told you. Don't you listen? How many times do I have to tell you this? Because they don't exist. That doesn't exist for that person. Here's what exists for that person right now. And that's what they can teach you. They can teach you how to be present right now to what they need. And you can look in their eyes and you can see the person that you love still there, still present, and afraid. Because they don't have a memory of who they were or who you might be, but there's an awareness of who they are. And there's an awareness of who you are. And that never changes. Stay with that awareness. Now what you say is, I naturally have an ego and I hate it. I feel like a douchebag all the time. We all have them. If you're in a body, you have an ego. But you are not the ego. Those were wise words that you says. I have an ego. You have one, but you are not one. Just that alone is enough for that to change. And as for the last comment, I've seen the best of Night Watcher here. The very best of Night Watcher. I've seen you be helpful. I've seen you be kind. I've even seen you be loving. And I've seen you be a douchebag. You're human. You know? Accept the humanness and all that comes with it. Let's see. Spec says, oh, honey, that gave me goosebumps. I'm glad I commented today. I'm glad you did as well, my friend. Thank you, Jacob. Spec says, Night Watcher, you seem self-aware, not a D-bag. Very astute. Because you know what? Someone who wasn't self-aware never would have made that comment. Ginger says, I'm teaching myself not to teach them anymore because I'm always stayed busy, not caring for myself. And here it is. I am bored. Boredom's not a bad place to be. Ginger says, no, it's no patience for others, which I am now getting. There's a saying in A Course in Miracles, infinite patience produces infinite results. And I was thinking about that earlier, and I amended it to, because I love using that line on people. when we're going to be late for something and I'm taking my time and they're like, you got to hurry up. And I smile at Milka and I say, infinite patience produces immediate results, which drives her absolutely crazy. So I've amended it to infinite patience produces instant agitation in other people. Not my best quality, guys. Now, what you says, I've always been a bit self-aware, but I usually act unaware for some reason. Guessing because I don't like being self-aware. Because when you are completely self-aware, the ego disappears, vanishes, or at the very least, it's seen through. The last thing the ego, which bases its very identity on being you, the last thing the ego wants is to be seen through. Because now it has no agenda. Doesn't play a prominent role in our life anymore. Now we're able to be kind, patient, and loving. Specs says that was really kind, Yogi. Thank you. Welcome, my friend. Eric Point says, Jacob, we were talking about you on Transgers Live today. I saw that too. As a matter of fact, to quote the great Eric Lapointe, Jacob is a beast. Unquote. Ginger says, I am immature a lot of time. I just like to make people laugh. Sniper says, dementia requires unconditional love to the max. It does. And it reveals it. It reveals us for that very purpose. My mother was a teacher for well over 40 years and an exceptional teacher. And I was her last student. She taught me, again, how kind can I be? How patient can I be? And I realized there was absolutely no limit. None at all. If I was ever impatient with my mom, and thankfully those times are very few, if I was ever impatient, she would show me how to be patient just through her own enduring presence. Spec says, I never tried to change my behavior, only understand it. Perfectly said. That leads to change naturally, I think. 100%. Everything changes through awareness. Here's the funny thing. Yoga has a intricate psychological system of diving within and seeing how the nature of the mind works, what they call the 5 afflictions or the 5 kleshas. And the mind always works on being attached to something or some things, being adverse to something or some things, people too, to fear of being separate, small, limited, to fear of death, and ignorance, that it is ignorant of all those things happening, ignorant that it is not really true, just plain ignorance. And you would think with this intricate psychological system of viewing the mind, there would be this very intricate system of fixing it. And what yoga says, what Buddhism says, what A Course in Miracles says, you don't need to fix it. You're not broken. Just be aware. Just be aware. And through the lens of awareness, as our friend Speck says, everything begins to change. Everything. Now, of course, you also meditate, which makes you more aware. You also do breath work, which makes you energetically more aware. You also do asanas, the postures, which makes you more patient, kind, and aware. You accept your body and the limitations that it has today. You accept your brain and the limitations that it has today. Austin saying hi to everyone. So if I miss anything, let me know, guys. Spec says, I think that's a sign of maturity, not watcher. A good sign you're growing up. Absolutely. Ginger says, no, it's a change in pace for other people. I don't change pace. My life never changes. I only have a few friends. There will be less weddings and funerals. I live by that. Well, it seems like it might not change, but it changes the very nature and function of life itself. As my friend Robert Saltzman, he wrote a wonderful book, The 10,000 Things. Each moment is a once upon, never to be repeated. So things to notice. Night Watcher says, yeah, no, I've already realized I'm immature. A lot of the time, my personality shifts to people for some unknown reason. Here's the important thing to remember, Night Watcher. Your own language that you just used. My personality. You already know that you are not your personality and that it shifts, meaning it's not who you are. Personality is just thoughts, a collection of thoughts that we have cherished to the point that we've made it real, but it isn't and never has been. We are not a personality, we are witness to the personality. It doesn't mean the personality is good or bad or whatever. It just means it's not an actuality. Fictitious. So, how far behind am I? I'm far enough that I didn't notice our great friend Destiny here. Destiny, my friend, how are you? Destiny says, how are you? I'm doing pretty good. Been talking meditation. I do want to switch gears slightly and talk a bit about breathwork, though. Daisy says, I'm not a robot night watcher. Daisy said, last night I throwed up and my stomach hurt so much I've never believed it could be that bad. I'm sorry to hear that, Daisy. Spec says, Ginger, I used to make jokes because it kept me from getting too close. I was a funny one. Very, very similar. It was, for me, it was a form of self-protection. But nobody really knew me, but I like laughing. Sometimes jokes break the ice. For me, Cypher says the ego tamed, seen through completely. When you see through it, you know it never really truly exists. So for me, just for me, I have no sense of trying to tame something that doesn't exist. I have no sense of trying to control something that doesn't exist. I see that it doesn't exist, and I just proceed through life. Whatever happens, happens. I suffered from a speech impediment, and I had some eye issues as a kid. My speech impediment brought me a great deal of discomfort, caused me to dislike myself for a long time. I would have teased from an early age. I've told this before. I would have teachers who knew I would say a certain word funny, call me up in front of the class and say this. And I would first, in innocence as a kid, you say it. Everyone laughs. And then you soon realize that you're being laughed at. And that when they call you up there, it's for the sole purpose of making you feel bad. I was going to say humiliation, but at that age, 5, 6, 7, 8, you don't know what humiliation is. You just know that what's going to happen is bad. Later on, I realized I was purposely having people try to humiliate me. And I, as Spec said, I became the funny one. I realized if I can make someone laugh before they laugh at me, then I have power. But I realized later in life that that wasn't even true power. True power is completely letting go of even the concept of power. As Abraham Maslow said, the self-actualized person is independent of the good opinion of others. So you learn to just let it go and let it go and let it go. Early lessons in what would become a theme in my life, forgiveness. Sniper says, Daisy, try to eat a small amount of charcoal. Charcoal does a lot of wonderful stuff, doesn't it? Spec says, I'm sorry you're not feeling well, Daisy. All right, I'm going all the way down to the bottom so I can try to catch up a bit. And I go to the bottom and I see one word from Eric Lapointe, frogs. That's not a bad word to focus on. I do love frogs. Desi says, Grand Friday and blessings, Eric Lapointe. Nightwatcher says, Daisy, I like all pets except insects. I don't mind insects either. Ginger says, Specs, that's me. How did I break the ice first time? I do that all the time. Who cares? Keep to yourself. I don't care about feelings because the one closest will cross you. Interesting thoughts. Desi says, hello and happy Friday, Night Watcher of the Rebirth. Signature, hey Signature, how are you? I'm going to be live stream tonight at 8 p.m. UK time. Topic for positive vibes. Man, you certainly do give the positive vibes, Signature. I love your channel. Daisy says she likes dogs, say frogs. Frogs. I do like dogs, but I do like frogs too. I got some wonderful film clips for my nature shorts of some frogs. Desi says, I always say change is not change until it's changed, meaning nothing changes until you put the effort into it to change any situation you're not like. I like how Einstein says, nothing changes until something moves. Nothing changes until something moves. For me, I had the opposite effect. Everything changed when I learned to be still. Man, I started the conversation talking about meditation. Everything changed when I began to meditate. Deepak Chopra calls it synchrodestiny. How through the process of meditation, we become that which we already and always have been. And that by watching the synchronicities that occur in our life, we are led to our authentic selves effortlessly, which is the nature of meditation, remember, effortlessly. We have spent so much time and have been convinced that everything requires hard work and effort. There's nothing the matter with hard work and effort. Great things happen with hard work and effort. However, remember in the Tao Te Ching when they say, there is no doer, yet everything gets done. There is no doer, yet everything gets done. Daisy says, can you stop with the emojis, Night Watcher? Ginger says, my ego changes when I have someone in front of me. It has so much stat. My favorite part is showing my barge and fishing boat and my food pantry. I am debt-free. Reminder, when a rich piss me off. Not sure I understand the last part. Hey, Brian, how are you? Brian says, greetings to all. Brian says, as a 6'6", 287-pound man, my ego has went from one end of the spectrum to the other. I choose to be a humble giant and not a big a-hole. Well, that's a wonderful choice, my friend. I'm glad to hear that. The first thing, the first great insight in meditation is we are not our thoughts. We're the noticer of the thoughts. And if we're not the thoughts, then we can't be the ego, because the ego is just a collection of thoughts. If we're not the ego, then ego is just an appearance. Junior says, Yogi, what did I say to break the ice? It was about the muffin. And you certainly did break the ice. That was the conversation that we had for the rest of the night. Everything came back to muffins. Destiny says, Yogi, that's a horrible teacher to do. I had several who did that. And believe it or not, it was a Catholic school. Some of them were nuns, and my mom taught at that school, and they did that. I don't know if my mom, I never asked her. I don't know if she was ever aware, but they did that as they were friends with my mom. So Destiny says, Yogi, that's a horrible teacher to do such a cruel thing to a child. You show her now how wrong she was to judge you. Your capabilities and wisdoms are way beyond her thinking. Thank you, Destiny. Austin drops a link for a short he just made. Thank you, Austin. I should mention again that Austin has laser beams for eyes. Austin has some really creative and clever shorts. Sniper says back. Destiny says nothing changes until it moves. That's a good one too. Eric M, thanks for sharing. You're welcome, Destiny. Sniper says hi to Destiny. And just like that, I'm caught up. Although I know I missed some stuff. I apologize, guys. I easily can say the greatest insight I've ever had is that I am not an ego. And nothing has to be done. I don't have to fight it, push it aside. I don't have to try to enlighten it. The ego can never be enlightened. It's not the nature of the ego. The ego is a physical guidance system that has gained the belief that it is truly who and what we are. And it leads to nothing but trouble. A lot of people might try to dispute that until they view a world in the absence of an ego, just for a flash, just for an instant. In Zen, they call it a satori, instant awakening. But when you see that, again, you just let the ego be. Play out the ego games. There was I got it here somewhere, a wonderful book, if I can find it. I'll dig it out for later. Finite and Infinite Games. The author was actually a student of Swami Muktananda, a great yogic teacher. Passed away in the early 80s. Very controversial. But the finite games are all the games: jobs, school, learning, houses, mortgages, bank accounts, getting ahead, being better, playing sports, being better at sports. All of those are infinite games. Not good or bad, the games that we play in this life. The purpose of a finite game is to keep playing the game. However, there's one other game, and it is an infinite game. It is the game of the infinite self. It is the game of Shiva, the universe, Brahma. And we are aspects within that game. So when we surrender everything, all these little small games, the finite games that we're playing, when we surrender them to the infinite game, it's hard to take those finite games seriously. We still want to play them. We still want to excel, succeed, but we do it in this great sense of relaxation, this sense of synchronicity and flow, knowing that all the while we're playing these finite games, we are infinite beings playing finite games. Really important book I read in the 1980s that was helpful for me. My life was still a mess for the next 16, 15 years. It was only when I was completely exhausted when my life began getting better. But I started having insights along the way, synchronicities. like learning to meditate. It's only when I was, man, so close to everything, the carpet being pulled out from under me, that I was given that gift of sobriety, the gift of a realization that life is much greater than even at the time of my meditation and my yoga practice, it was much greater than I even had a glimpse of imagining. Let's see. Jacob says, thank you for having me on your live stream. Once again, Brother Mr. Yogi, truly appreciate it. Much love and respect. Big salute. Heading out. Blessings to you all. Jacob is a wonderful example of someone who just serves selflessly. He came in here and said hi. He dropped everyone's link, even people who aren't here, who are important to the community. And then he thanks me for being here and says goodbye. If there is a finer human being than Jacob, I've yet to meet him. Ginger says, wannabe rich people piss me off because, like my sister, she lives a life she can't afford, but puts her 2 cents in. And now her hubby has MS and she is close to bankruptcy and she's still higher than you. I'm sorry to hear that, Ginger. I'm sorry to hear about her husband as well as your sister. But maybe caregiving for your brother-in-law will be a learning experience for her, a humbling experience for her. I don't mean humbling in a bad way, as being brought down. I mean humbling that we realize the purpose of life is to extend love and care, compassion to others. If we are so big on ourselves, big on the ego will never be humbled. It will act like it was humbled. It will have that aw shucks attitude, but the ego is never humble. Destiny says, have a great weekend, Jacob. Hey, Alexandria, how are you? Man, Eric LaPointe, beautifully said. Sometimes you have to be broken down to the foundation before you can rebuild yourself. Absolutely. For me, I don't know if there was a process of rebuilding. Life broke me down and I liked what was there. It's the process of allowing the brokenness. Leonard Cohen in his great song, Anthems. Everything has a crack in it because that's how the light gets in. And the wabi-sabi principle, Japanese art. Something breaks and it only adds to the beauty. So if people were to come to me and say, Eric, Yogi, how did you get to be so beautiful? I would say, life broke me open. All right, I need to put an asterisk. No one has ever come to me and said, Yogi, how did you ever get to be so beautiful? But let's just imagine someone actually did. That would be my answer. Everyone's saying hi. Nightwatcher says, I'm wanting to learn coding. You mentioned that before. I bet you can teach yourself. Destiny says, absolutely so true, Eric LaPointe. Alexandria says, hi, Eric. Daisy's back. Daisy says, came back, I checked some of Austin's YouTube Shorts videos. Austin is one of a kind, truly unafraid to be himself and share it with others. That's what I love about his, shorts. That and the fact you guys can quote me on this. It is better to be friends with someone who has laser beams for eyes than it is to be an enemy of someone who has laser beams for eyes. You might want to write that down because I'll never remember. Ginger says, yes, it takes time. She puts her victim size and corners people's and acts like she can help, but she causes a lot of drama. Ginger says, you're a handsome man. Laughing out loud. Well, thank you for that. amazing how often people feel it's perfectly natural because we're online to tell me the opposite, or tell me something, or tell me who I look like, or what I sound like, or what I should do, who I should like, who I should dislike, who I should vote for, who I shouldn't vote for. As I mentioned before, I'm retired. I am no longer accepting invitations to live in other people's worlds, regardless. So, if you're thinking about inviting me to live in your world, you can save the stamp. You can save the envelope. Doesn't mean that I don't love and appreciate where you are, where anyone else is. It means that I no longer want to pick sides. I know who I'm going to vote for, but I don't need to demonize anyone else for who they're going to vote for. I don't need to make them wrong for who they're going to vote for. I don't need to make myself right for who I'm going to vote for. I don't need to pick a side and end the YouTube community war. I don't need to refuse to be friends with anyone for any reason whatsoever. All of those are invitations that someone's going to give you from time to time. Everyone has one. I try to catch myself with my own. Oh, Ginger says, what you should eat? Yes, what I should eat. For a while there, we had someone show up almost every day, Eric LaPointe will remember, and told me to eat steak, eat meat, gain some weight, do this. Not knowing at one time I was a 220-pound powerlifter. Already been there. Don't need to go back. Daisy says, for some reason, some boys that are my classmates is bullying me and even traumatized me. I'm still traumatized because of them. Absolutely go to authorities. Never hesitate. Always get help. And those same people that are traumatizing you now will one day be at your doorstep asking you on a date. Let's see. Destiny says, thanks, Yogi, for answering all of our questions, inspiring all of our hearts, and imparting so much wisdom into our ever learning. Blessings, love to you all. Keep unique and your authentic self. Thank you, Destiny. Your words always mean so much to me. Always. And you know what? It's the conversation that matters. I don't have any wisdom in and of myself, but it's the conversation that we have that brings through all of us, each one of us offering our little bits of information and wisdom and knowledge, and it creates the conversation that we're having. Eric Point says, yep, all the time. You know what? And that's a form of invitation too. People are inviting you to believe their opinion of you. And for much of my life, I believed it. We all do. Believed what the teachers have told us. We believe what the government tells us. We believe what media tells us, what newspaper tells us, what our, did I say parents? What our parents told us, our siblings, our friends, our neighbors. All little personalized invitation. Believe this, believe that. And it gets tiresome. But tiresome is good, because then you can step outside of that and come to the conclusion, nope, I'm good. No more invitations, please. And I try to catch myself. I don't want to invite people 100% to my point of view. Note, I said 100%. Note that hint of ego that says maybe a little bit. Hey, William, how are you? Ginger says, yes, that's what I say all the time. I turn my back on everyone, everything, because I hate people. For me, it's the opposite. That I say no, not because I hate anyone, because I love everyone, including myself. If you ask me to pick a side, that means I have to exclude someone. And I can't offer infinite love. I can't practice forgiveness if I'm selective. And here's the thing. I'm not super good at forgiveness. I'm not super good at offering infinite love, even though that's all of our basic nature. The only way I can get better is by practicing. And if you limit my practice, where am I now? If you told me that I can forgive this person but not that person, this person did something, go ahead and forgive him. It's been a while. And we like them now. But this person we still don't like. And they did something horrendous. So don't forgive them yet. But maybe eventually. That's not forgiveness. Remember, the forgiveness, the basis of forgiveness is that quote from the Course in Miracles I said earlier. The one wholly true thing that one can say about the past is that it's not here. That's forgiveness. Being here. There's nowhere else you can be. Ram Dass said, be here now. He should have wrote a sequel that said, because there's nowhere else you can ever be. Now what it says, hey Yogi, before you go, try this test. 16 personalities. I am not even the least bit interested in any one of my multiple personalities. Daisy says, Eric, what should I do if my classmates try to bully me again? I'm scared. Talk to your parents. Talk to your teacher. Go directly to your principal. Zero tolerance of bullying. Stand up for yourself, but have support. Have people backing you up. Go to your friends. Let them know what's going on. Zero tolerance. Don't accept any of it. And get help. Destiny says, blessings and love, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for sharing your love and your kindness. Just Yogi. Thank you, Destiny. Yep, we'll be wrapping things up in just a minute or two. Junior says, Daisy, it's about growing up. Also, if you don't have disappointments, life would be easy. Night Watcher says, show us your results. Yeah, I probably won't take it. I'll be honest with you, Night Watcher. Eric Point says, hey, William. Been thinking about you, William. I've been thinking about you and pizza. Desi says, hello and happy Friday to William Hart. William says, what did I miss? Man, we talked a lot about meditation. A lot. Ginger says, oh, I give people chances. Hey, Skeeter. How are you? Hey, Skeeter's going to be live stream again tonight at 7 o'clock. I was happy I was able to make it for a bit and hang out. Very relaxing Pennsylvania evening. Skeeter's got some pretty cool gear that I don't see on other channels. Obey Wiz says, hit the like. Thank you. I appreciate that. Austin says, hi to William. Night Watcher says, I'm going to be going now. Another great live before Eric LP. Snuck it in there. You never know who's going to get it these days. Skeeter says, different lake tonight. Nice. Yeah, I noticed Bob was in a different spot today, too. Daisy says, Eric, it might seem weird when I say it, but when I try to smile, I can't. Make me cry a lot. You know what, Daisy? Doesn't sound weird at all. Don't try to smile. And don't believe that the smile belongs to the lips. A smile always belongs to the heart. So let your heart smile. And the key word is let. Don't try to make it smile. Just allow it. And it will. Whenever you see anything beautiful, your heart smiles. Whenever you read a beautiful poem, whenever you watch something on TV or a movie that gives you that feeling of something magical might have happened, your heart is smiling. Eventually, as you relax, it'll make itself up all the way. And your eyes will smile, your mouth will smile. Eric Point says, hey to Skeeter. William says, hello all. Normal live then. Nice. Just finished, roasted all my nuts and seeds. Nice. Roasted pecans. Do you say pecans or do you say pecans? I think we've had this conversation before. Cashews, pistachios, sunflower. Now trying to finish drying out my deglet, nor dated. I just like them slimy in each bag. I don't like them slimy either. I get from NNH is varying 40 to 60, too slimy. I cannot abide a slimy date. I'm talking about the fruit date. I don't want you to think that I date people who are slimy. I might have in the past. Daisy says, yeah, you're right. Yep, your smile is always present. Sometimes it just doesn't always reach up. Roy says, cons. I did not say cans. Cons, I did not say cans. Ah. Pecans. I say pecans too, but I hear people say pecan. I have a slice of pecan pie. Pecan pie is excellent. Not my favorite pie. I think everyone knows the favorite pie. I think everyone knows the Just a Yogi in his burpees, Just a Yogi in his basement doing burpees stance on pie. This is a pumpkin pie channel. We endorse and support pumpkin pie. Any other opinions to the contrary can go to the, I don't know, that Eric Lapointe channel and whatever pie he endorses. I know William Hart is all about the pumpkin pie too. Just thought I should put that in this political season. I refuse to take a stance on a host of things, but I'm taking that pie stance right here. Eric Lapointe. See, this is why Eric Lapointe is the true yogi. He's a yogi above all yogis. He is the true spiritual master. I love all pies. That should be a Zen quote. Zen of Eric Lapointe. I love all pies. Even 314. That might be the best of all pies. William says, I love pumpkin pie. Trying to find other ways to use pumpkin puree. How about a smoothie? They're making it pumpkin spice or pie. You can do a pumpkin smoothie, 2 bananas, tablespoon, pumpkin puree, maybe 2 tablespoons. Put some dates in, pitted dates, of course. Non-slimy, of course. Sprinkle a little bit of nutmeg, a little bit of cinnamon. If you wanted to, you could add in some almond milk. I usually just use a little bit of water to help it mix up better. Daisy says, I love your lives, Eric. Good night. 2127 from Romania. Good night, Daisy. And thank you for that. I very much appreciate hearing that. Roy says, I want a blueberry crumble pie. I do like blueberries. I do like blueberry pie. Man, don't distract me with your contrary pumpkin pie talk. Again, this is a pumpkin pie channel. Let's see. William says, hey, squirrel and yogi, nutmeg and cinnamon if you'll make it pumpkin spiced. Yeah. How about without the pumpkin, without the cinnamon and nutmeg, and a dash of vanilla extract? Vanilla extract in anything makes it better. William says, it's tough because I do not like sweet blueberries, only tart, sour. More than likely, I would have a butterluck with raspberry pie. There you go. Cherry. Squirrel Semper says, I pass on the pumpkin. Man, that is disheartening. Don't know what to say to that. I didn't see it coming. Blindsided. Blindsided by Squirrel Sniper. Of course, why wouldn't you suspect the sniper? How can anyone be blindsided by a sniper? And yet I was. And I will have to live with that disappointment. Roy says he carved a few from wood. Yeah, he did. And I haven't been able to catch a Semper says, sorry, it's a veg. Technically, it's a gourd, right? I don't know if there's a difference. Not on my menu. Is a gourd a veg? Man, it's been a few days since I've been able to catch a Stuart the Fish Whisperer live stream. I don't know if he's live now. He is. So, with that, I'm going to head on over and hang out with Stuart the Fish Whisperer for a little bit. I'm going to make my evening salad, evening for me. Sports Empress says, yeah, it's a veg. So, okay, gourd's a veg. Good to know. I do like gourds. Squash, pumpkins. What else? Empress says, William, I don't diet. Yeah, neither do I. People often will say, are you on a vegetarian diet? No. Are you on a vegan diet? No. Some people might even say, and Boy and I talked about this, saying I'm a vegan, which gives you this air of exclusivity. Exclusivity? Skip it. It's how I eat. For me, my diet, how I eat is an ethical stance as well as a form of nutrition. But, and for sake of conversation, it's easier to say vegan. But in no way do I believe or think that everyone needs to be vegan. Just me and Eric Lapointe. Anyone else can do whatever they want. I found it helpful at any odd moment in any conversation that I have to throw in Eric Lapointe. I don't know why. It makes me smile. It brings me great comfort. I'm going to start, I do it on my live streams all the time. I'm going to start doing it in regular life, even if people who have no idea who Eric Lapointe is. I'm just going to throw in Eric Lapointe. I believe all my relationships will be better if I do that. Hey, Tandra. It's going to be a great experiment. I'll let you guys know. If you guys, like a week from now, you come into a live stream, and William does this all the time. How's Mocha? And if I'm like, man, I don't want to answer that, you're going to know that me bringing Eric Lapointe into conversations did not work out too well. But it's worth a try. We'll see. I think it's going to improve the quality of my life. Because look at my live streams. Look how much better they've gotten since I started doing that. I'll tell you, it doesn't work with everyone. Like it doesn't work with Noble Squirrel and Traveler because I can't say those three together fluidly in a conversation. Like here's an experiment. I don't think everyone should be a vegan, just me and Noble Squirrel and Traveler. It loses something. Now, next, I don't think everyone should be a vegan. Just me and Eric LaPointe. Note the different quality. Note the cosmic vibrational pattern that invokes a sense of well-being and humor just in adding that. It's like a mantra. Be confident is here. Hello, my friend. Just in time. Getting ready to call it a day in just a minute. But I'm glad you made it in to say hi. Very much appreciated. Be confident. Drops to think for Eric LaPointe. William says, take care all. See you in a few hours. Sniper says, I fast and eat when I only hungry. About 6 meals a week on a day and 1 day off. Mixture of different meat. Only very few meats from different longitude than latitude. Interesting. Tanya says, how are you doing today? Next opportunity, next live stream that you're able to hang out, Sniper, I'd love to hear the reasons for the longitude and latitude. Be confident says, hello, my friends. Hope I didn't miss anything. It was a good conversation today. It is all the time. I'm always blessed to have good friends show up. I talked a whole lot about meditation. I never made it to breath work. So when I come back in the evening, we're going to talk breath work. Thank you for dropping the links. Be confident says, how's everyone? I'm feeling great today. I'm happy to hear that. Confident. Austin is back. Hey, be confident. Are you connected with Tandra? Tandra is building her channel, and she's doing a very excellent job doing it. She has wonderful live streams. I think she is she's a pro. She's got very easy quality to her voice. My cat's complaining about something. And it creates a whole relaxing situation. Well, it says, same scroll, definitely want to know more. Be confident says, guys, just put a smile on your face. No matter how you feel, and it will help. Thank you for that. William says, I would actually pay to understand the longitude eating thing. Tanya says, thank you, Eric. You're welcome, my friend. Confident drops William's link. Hey, Confident, William's like you. He's just a support channel. Also says, it's just sub to your channel. Be confident. Nice. Confident, it says already following Tandra. Good. Excellent. Xfinity Gamer says, hi from UK. Hello, my friend. Nice to see you. You got here just in time. Gonna say goodbye. I'm gonna go hang out with our friend, Fed Xfinity, because you're showed up. You've just gained a subscriber, my friend. Happy to meet you. Odom says, have a blessed weekend, everyone. You too, Odom. Hope you get some peaceful time in the garden, my friend. All right, guys, I'll be back at about 5:20. 2.5 hours or so. Be confident says, I don't care if you subscribe to me because I don't have any content. Xfinity says, thanks, bro. I'll subscribe to you. Thank you. Much appreciated. Be confident is only a support channel. Not only a support channel, a great support channel. Be confident has come in here and he has befriended everyone. He's helped everyone out. He's shared everyone's channel. And he's offering everyone support. So a support channel extraordinaire. Same with William Hart. Same with Walking with Goldie. Same with her Siegfried. You got to love people who just want to help. And I do. Be Confident says, guys, just know I'll be accepting of everyone, no matter who you are. Tanya says, supporters are so important. They are. And it's a great lesson for all of us. Because even if you're trying to be a content creator, be a supporter. You will receive what you give. Cosmic law. You will receive what you give. So many great people showed up to give me watch hours. Getting monetized, man, it almost felt easier than it had a right to be. And it was through the support of my friends. So many great friends. So what can you do? You turn around and you give it back. You keep creating content. You keep doing what your heart calls you to do. But if you truly, truly listen to your heart, it's going to say, give, give, give. So there's a saying in the Talmud, above every blade of grass is an angel. I think originally it said 1,000 angels whispering, grow, grow, grow. Above every single channel, content creator, there's an angel whispering, grow. And to do that, you help other people grow. Xfinity says 100% true. So, hey, Xfinity, we're here to help you too, my friend. Be Confident says, I love everyone. You know what? I do too. Absolutely. No exceptions. Does it mean I like everyone? No. I love everyone. I'm accepting of everyone. Tanya says, thank you so much for your support. I've been watching Jason's video to help him. Yep, I had Jace up today. I have an epic live stream I've had you up, Tandra. I actually had one of your older, I left a message live streams, and then I had your Friday live on as well. An epic session. I'm 6 hours and 39 minutes into a 7-hour, 51-minute from Trending Live. Last count from Trending Live, 3,100 watch hours. And Facebook generally holds 5 days in the book. So close. She is so close. So, guys, if you don't mind giving her a bit, and step outside your comfort zone. That'll be the last thing. Step outside the comfort. Oh, Xfinity says, thanks, I appreciate it. You're welcome, my friend. Be Confident. Confident says, I just think it's fun helping everyone. It is. Absolutely. And you always seem like you're having fun. Be Confident. But I don't mean I support everything everyone does per se, because, for example, I don't support the motives of a fit example murderer. Absolutely. Understood. But overall, I support everyone. Agreed. Let's see. Oh, step outside your perceived comfort zone. Meaning, if there's like a genre of channels that you might dismiss because it's just not what you do, open the door to possibilities. I found so many friends and supporters and people that I'd love to support in the gaming community, in the crafting community, in the outdoor fishing community, and the, of course, fitness. So keep looking, keep reaching out, bring everyone together into one community. Erase the borders because they don't actually exist. Be Confident says, my father's name was Eric. Nice. We've had a couple, 2 or 3 Erics here. Tanya says, amazing. Yeah, man, that is a long, epic live stream, isn't it? Over 7 hours. Our friend Noble Scrolling Traveler has done 12-hour live streams. I'm from the United States in the state of Maryland on the East Coast. Be Confident says he died from cardiac arrest. He died 6 years ago. I'm sorry about that, Confident. My father passed away coming up on 3 years next month. Just a little over 2 weeks, October 2nd. And as I talked about earlier, I was very fortunate to be his caregiver. All right, guys, let me wrap things up. I'll be back. If you guys are around, you got nothing better to do on a Friday night, come on back. Let's see. Xfinity says, well, I've never been to the U.S. It's a beautiful place, but you're going to find beautiful places and beautiful people all across the world. Be Confident says, you know what? I never asked you where you were from. From the UK, and I speak German and American. Nice. Xfinity says, count me in. Absolutely, my friend, and thank you. I appreciate you popping in. So again, Xfinity, we're here to help you. I'll see everyone later. Take care, guys.